Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I want us to look at the president's called rally in Kilifi. But just before that, let me take this opportunity to say thank you very much. Today, we successfully paid fees for Joy in Runyenjes, and that is the photo you are seeing there. We paid fee for the girl and also paid fee for the boy in KMTC. You can look at, this is the first photo of the girl. That was Kawira and David. As I promised that I'll send some of my two team members to be in Runyenjes for this. No, that is Kawira and Tracy, and that is the mother of Joy and the girl. The school is in Runyenjes, patroned by Honorable Muchangi Karemba. Yes, and that is the girl there. Katikati. I'm so touched about this girl. This girl is very bright, and as I always say, tutaendelea kuwasomesha. So that is the girl. As I promised you that we were doing something. Then we also have the gentleman, the student at the KMTC headquarters. Yeah, this is the student, and that is David and Kawira, the part of the team that were there just to make sure all that is sorted, and he's also in school farm. So we are remaining with the two students, Mercy and Samuel, who are in Kisumu and Sigalagala. We'll bring that report on Friday because, as I had mentioned you guys, we lost Steve. Steve is this boy here. For people who don't know, huyu kijana tulikuwa tulimsaidia in July, but he died after suffering a short illness. I was in the ICU for some time, alafu akakuja akapass. So the burial is this weekend on Saturday. So on our way to their place in Alego, we are going to make sure that we sort the other two students who are in Kisumu. But hawa huku tushawa sort. And as we do this, I also want to encourage you, ask you guys you can also stand with us. We are planning to take the whole team to attend Steve's burial, and just give a stipend, just kinomgongo, something to sympathize with the family. Watoto bado wako pale. And thank you very much. Our September project was to support the 4 students, watu wale wa TVET, Kisumu and Sigalagala, and these two umenya ko KMTC and the girl in Runyenjes. So I'll give you a report on Friday. So keep it here. I want us to go to Kilifi. The president attended a function in Kilifi County, and it's a function of some business, meeting some business entrepreneurs and some investors in Kenya. And as you can see in this photo, this was in Vipingo. And you can see the president, and you can see CS Lee Kenyan, amongst others, including David Lee. For the first time, I'm seeing David Lee after quite some long time absence. He was there. And as you can see, a deal was signed, and you see the attendance of those who are there. And as always, the norm, after this signing event, the president went straight to some place known as Jaribuni to launch some road. And some impromptu political rally was held there. I want you to look at what happened in that place, and you can see the way the audience was very cold on the president. This is Salim Vuria, and I picked two speeches from Salim Vuria and Joho, who is the cabinet secretary. Number one, you will understand that in the rally, Lee Kenyan, the trade cabinet secretary, was not present. He did not proceed for the rally. And the rally was attended by mostly the coast leaders, Joho amongst others. Salim Mvurya, in this video, probably was tipped to be person to attack Rigathi, and I wanted to pay attention to the reaction of the audience.
Na sisi tukiwa wanapwani, tukiwa viongozi, tuko timamu, tunaangalia na tunajua 2027 Mheshimiwa Rais uendelee, ili na sisi maendeleo yaendelee. Aendelee asiendelee? Rais aendelee asiendelee? Tunaelewa kwamba kuna wengine ambao hawana sera, kuna wengine ambao hawana mfano, walikuwa mamlakani na hivi sasa wamebobea kuwagawanya wananchi, wamebobea kutuambia ngonjera, wamebobea kutueleza hadithi, na wamebobea kutuletea vinyago na vikaragosi. Sisi wananchi wa pwani tuko timamu na tuko na Mheshimiwa William Ruto. Ruto aendelee asiendelee? Hebu mnionyeshe two-term ya rais, two-term ya rais.
Not so much glued to the moment that the cabinet secretary was trying to create. After him, it was the Hassan Joho turn. Hassan Joho is perceived as the coast's mouthpiece, the veteran politician who recently actually joined cabinet and is seconded to the cabinet to the President Ruto by Raila Odinga. And Hassan Joho was trying to explain how President Ruto, in Ruto presidency, the coast have felt his presidency. And this is also another video clip, interestingly, you will understand.
Unapokuja wema tuwalipa nini? Sasa muhakikishie bosi wangu 2027 mambo ni tu hapo mbele, tutajipanga hapo mbele. Ni kweli si kweli? Hapo wapi? Lakini kwa sasa ni William Samoei Ruto. Your Excellency, kwa heshima kubwa, kuna watu wameninong'oneza. Kuna jamaa aitwa Mr. Bado uko hapa? Your Excellency, nasikia amekutengezea nyimbo kwa bidii dakika 2 tu. Dakika 2 Mr. Bado kuja basi. Nasikia iko manzele nyingine kali sana. Awachilia sekunde panda hapa juu ndio watu wakuone. Usiruke.
That people are not boarding. Then the president, the speeches we are normally informed about. Of course, the crowd was mobilized for him. And President Ruto, while disparaging political opponents, tried even to drag the broad-based politics into his speech, but no vain.
Economic zone hapa Rea Vipingo, kati ya kampuni ambazo zitaletwa hapa kuanzia mwaka ujao tukisonga mbele, ni kampuni ambazo zitapatia nafasi ya ajira vijana 30,000 watafanya kazi hapa Vipingo. Na vijana hawa ni vijana wa kaunti ya Kilifi tukianza na wao, na vijana wa pwani, na vijana wa Kenya. Nyie mnanielewa watu wa Vipingo? Leo tumeanzisha hiyo mpango rasmi. Nimekuja hapa na waziri wa trade, waziri wa investment, waziri Hassan Joho, waziri Mvurya, gavana wenu Mheshimiwa Mungaro, wabunge wenu wote, kwa sababu tumekubaliana ili Kilifi ibadilike. Kilifi haiwezi kubadilishwa na maneno matupu. Haiwezi kubadilishwa na hekaya za Habunwasi. Itabadilishwa na mipango na miradi ya maendeleo bwana. Tunaelewana jameni? Katika ile harakati ya kujenga hiyo special economic zone, kuna vijana wengi watapata ajira ya kuijenga. Baadaye ile viwanda zitaletwa hapa. Tayari asubuhi ya leo tumeweka sahihi viwanda kadhaa ambazo zitakuja hapa Rea Vipingo wakati tumeikamilisha. Mbali na kujenga Rea Vipingo hapa, kampuni ya Afri Exim Bank vile vile wametupatia pesa bilioni 65 ama 500 million US dollars ya kujenga hii special economic zone hapa, ya kujenga hii special economic zone hapa, ya kujenga special economic zone ya Dongo Kundu hapa Mombasa, na Mheshimiwa Sharif ambaye ni governor wetu wa Mombasa.
Look at the audience. There is some analysis I did here, and I did mention here that if you compare the broad-based fellows, if you compare the two-term and the one-term chants, the one-term chants are coming out a bit more organic. I think if you've been following my analysis, I have mentioned that, and I did some video here, explain to you people how the one-term chants comes out a bit organic. And because of that, you'll understand really why it doesn't seem to come out more clearly, even as you push the two-term agenda. He even mentioned the broad-based deal with Raila, and clearly the audience is just flat. From this, I'm going to explain something about why the president's speeches are flat. I've always been saying that in messaging, those in power will really struggle to strike fresh, to rejuvenate. There seems to be some fatigue from the audience. There seems to be fatigue. Watu wamechoka. And I'll politically interpret how the opposition can actually, of the president's opponents, can actually rip into that fatigue from the audience. There's things that the president has been doing, and it doesn't stick. It doesn't strike. I was listening to Gathoni Mushomba dismantling Omboko Milemba about the trip to Statehouse, the meeting in Statehouse. And I even saw another teacher was in Spice FM saying that while Collins Oyu was endorsing President Ruto's two-term, that was not the consensus from the teachers.
School teachers. Yes. His name is Collins Oyu. So Collins Oyu just stands up. We expected him to say something. We gave him points. Before we went to Statehouse, Collins Oyu, and he's my friend, I believe he's listening to this. We gave Collins our agenda, what we expected the president to him. We wanted him to tell the president. Capitation was one of them. Illegal levies in schools is one of them. Even these deductions like housing levy, we as teachers don't want to be deducted some of those monies. We're not happy with it. There are problems with our medical cover. We expect him to say something about it. Instead, when he went there, Collins Oyu spoke a few things and endorsed the second term for the president. We were disappointed. But yes.
Yes, we hear the disappointment, and you could not have been more disappointed than the regular Kenyans, because we trust the teachers to take care of our children. And such a platform apparently was supposed to be a focus group, or to have spoken to policy issues that will improve the quality of education for teachers, for students, the whole financing model, capitation, etc. But then we wonder, as Doi is asking, you guys reported 3 a.m. as requested, and apparently we hear that it was a miscommunication. The provision for the 10,000 was for the day and night attendance. So don't complain about leaving late. However, of significance is to wonder, like, at what point do you get to voice how disgruntled you are, any opinion, so that we can improve seriously, as the Tunza Mtoto would advocate for, the quality of education, the policy making?
I don't know that. I don't know that as we are currently constituted.
Yes.
Because these teachers were mobilized from a union point of view.
Right.
You know, the unions were the really the mobilizers of the participants. And we have to ask ourselves, how are the unions playing, you know, in the country right now? We do not have unions that will be thinking about the big picture
and we do not have unions that are wondering, where is this handout coming from? And how is it
trying to cover up the shortcomings of the visit, the presidential teachers delegation to Statehouse? Mheshimiwa Omboko, you and me know very well that the president is an orator and executes his speeches in so much reality of the expected. You and me, Mheshimiwa, knows very well that even as we talk about promissory notes and manifestos, whatever a president in the office promises must be put into reality. He cannot come in presence to launch a project, abandons the project, and then the same people he does not fulfill for, collects them in buses, delivers them in his own state house to promise again. This is pure politics, Mheshimiwa. The lowest we have ever sunk as a country is when teachers, professionals, head teachers, in fact, I'm looking forward to meeting my head teachers in my constituency to go and ask them whether they were part and parcel of that delegation. Because every time I meet them, they tell me, oh, how Mheshimiwa, we are not able to run schools. In fact, I had a case of a teacher who attempted suicide. And the note he wrote, thank God we rescued his life in the process, I thank God. He said he's getting depressed because he cannot be able to run a school because of this mess of, capitation, lack of capitation, and then they're told don't send kids home, and then they're told to do 1, 2, 3, and they're getting depressed. So I am shocked that Mheshimiwa Omboko is here as a teacher's representative telling us that even tomorrow he will still go to State House to dance. To dance over what? Dance over our children who are deprived capitation. Some of them have even dropped out of school. For your information, for the first time, public schools in my constituency, day public schools, were sent home to go and clear their balances, the past balances, so that they can be able to run the schools. Otherwise, the schools are going to close down.
I thought you had.
And the same teacher and the same teachers are now telling us we went to State House and we were promised this, we are promised this. So after he has done with the teachers and told them that he's going to fill the gap, the capitation gap, is he going to call the parents now? Because the kids that are suffering out of capitation are not a property of the teachers. They are properties of us of parents. So can the president now collect 10,000 parents, take them to State House, and go and promise them that he's going to fill capitation the way he promised teachers?
That is not what the teachers agreed. And this is what we're saying. From this you'll understand that is not what the teachers agreed. But someone decided to run with that to endorse the president. And I want to go straight and explain to the opposition. This is message for you. The president's messaging has reached a plateau. The public, the audience is already fatigued because it is the same story, the same promise, one after the other. And it is now time for the opposition. I've listened to Rigathi Gachagua saying he wants to be president. And it is good to consolidate your constituency, because you must give them a reason why they need to stick with you. Remember, they've been aligned that because Rigathi was impeached, he cannot vie for presidency. And I said that is a good move for him to announce his presidential bid so that he can consolidate his constituency. After consolidating his constituency, then the reality politics of the coalition will play out and decide on who really to become the flag bearer. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I tend to understand President Ruto is having a deficiency of what to say, new thing. It is upon now the opposition to create new messages. It is time now them to start dropping their ideas. People are gonna listen. I've listened to Rigathi saying, mimi nitastopisha housing levy, mimi nitatoa SHA, nitafanya hii, fine. The country did not have enough problem with the housing levy, with the houses. The country have a problem with the levy. So you also need to answer them, yes, I'm going to build these houses because building houses there's no problem about it. But this is how I'll make sure that this project is, or rather the scheme is, private sector led. You need to ask those who are building, when this was being fronted, the president used to run with the narrative that, you know what, the cost of mortgage is expensive. And the question should now be, now that we have affordable housing, has it affected the market rate that now the cost of mortgage has reduced? That is the kind of conversation you must actually take to the people. The country is struggling with capitation. What will be input to make sure that capitation goes to schools all the time? The hospitals, we are shouting about share, but they don't have the medicine. So that is the first thing, that the audience is fatigued and the president doesn't have a new message for him. Number two, I think I've said it. I've not said there are three things that will come out from the audience fatigue. I think who wants to be president, he who wants to be president, must sit down with the people. People will listen. Apart from the rallies, have a sit down, some targeted messaging to specific group. The president met teachers. There are so many unemployed teachers here. You can even go on Facebook and say, in place X, I'm calling a meeting, we are going to meet teachers XYZ, please register. Probably with this, and that. Then people come, attend. Talk to them, even if it is Matiang'i. Tell them what is the solution. Targeted messaging for specific group. That is very important. The audience is a bit more fatigued. Number three, William Ruto, as he talks, he speaks about more that is to be done than what has been done. And we're just 1.5 years to the general election. We only have some 18 months to a general election, maybe. And you should take that advantage to paint a picture in the mind of the voter what the president has done. Because the state is simply creating imageries of non-existing successes. Thank you, guys.